What's up, YouTube? It's the Action Figure Grader coming back to you with another market update from sales on eBay for vintage Kenner Star Wars figures. And today we're going to mainly focus on loose die-cast vehicles. I know some of you collect those. I know I do. And there were a number of really nice, minty Lili Ledys that sold at auction. And then we're going to end the video with some baggies. So it's a pretty wide selection, but kind of focused in those three areas: baggies, Lili Ledys, and the die-cast. So I just thought it'd be kind of fun to show you what has been selling. And a lot of these, my Patreon supporters picked up from my Buy It Now alert. So congrats to those of you that were able to pick up some of these. So let's take a look. This is the only one, I think, that doesn't fit into those categories that I was just describing, but I wanted to show it because this is one I sent out to my Patreon supporters. This is the first 12 mail-away display stand, and it was in really great shape, I felt like. It wasn't perfect by any means, but you could see some soft edge wear and things like that. But the actual display was in great shape. The labels were in really great shape. And I just thought it was worth sending out to my Patreon supporters. And I think one of y'all did buy this. So congrats on that. It sold for $275 free shipping. I thought that was a bargain. Great display piece, original stickers. The cardboard backdrop was in good shape. So congrats to whoever did pick that up. But that one did sell for $275 free shipping. All right, let's dig into the die-cast. And again, a number of these were at auction or they were in Buy It Now alerts to my Patreon supporters. This was a fairly near mint plus condition die-cast Slave 1, and I sent this one out, sold immediately for $35 was the list price. Best offer accepted on that. I didn't look up what the final sales price was because I've got another couple of examples here that sold, and it gives you a general price range to aim for. The one thing to keep in mind for the die-cast Slave 1 is the body, where the fuselage is the word I like to use. That one can turn yellow, and you got to be careful when you're picking it out. This one, I don't think it's really that yellow. It looks pretty clean to me. I know that mine that I have loose graded with CAS does have a slight yellow tint, and most of them do, quite honestly. It's just a natural byproduct of the plastic degrading. But anyway, I thought that was a really good deal. $35, best offer accepted, plus $10 shipping. Here was another one. I think I might have had this one in a what to buy video, and one of y'all did pick that up. This one, you can see the yellowing just a little bit more, but I still think this one grades probably an 80 or 80 plus. And here's a good side profile view of it. That one sold for $35, $10 shipping. So, two good examples there. And then I've got this one at auction, and this one was kind of unused. And this seller had a number of really nice die casts that were basically all just displayed, never played with, really clean condition, and the prices get crazier the more rare we get with the die-cast vehicles that he had for sale or she had for sale. The die-cast Slave 1 with the card back, you can see how clean that one is. I mean, this one is absolutely pristine and sold for $41.40 in an auction. So that gives you a nice tight price range if you're looking for the Slave 1 die-cast loose and a near mint plus condition. Anywhere from $30 to about $45 should get you a nice one. And $41.40 on that one plus $7 shipping. This is the one I bid on because it had a clear windshield, and I've got one already that I'm going to send off to CAS, but it does have a slight yellow tint to the windshield. I still think mine grades about an 80. This one was pretty pristine, and the windshield on it was crystal clear from what I can tell. Very, very clean condition and unused as well. That one sold for $96. I finished second on that one, unfortunately. Those do tend to go for a little bit more than the rest of them because usually the windshield is either missing or it's heavily yellowed. I've got one that's coming soon in the mail that is just got a very slight yellow tint to it. But I wanted to upgrade it with this one, but it didn't happen. $96 took that one home. This TIE Fighter is another one I still need. I didn't bid on this one. It had a couple of very light edge, you know, some scuffing right here in the white on the wings, and there was some other kind of very, very minor scuffs you can see right here. I still think this one grades at about an 80, so it was in very good condition. $61 on that one plus $7 shipping. The Twin Pod Cloud Car, this one is probably the most mint I've ever seen, and I probably should have bid on it because I've got two of them that just are arriving soon from Collector Archive that had 2 little paint chips on the noses. It still graded very well, but this one was just absolutely pristine, and it sold for $41.40. I think that's going to grade a 90 pretty easily. That was a really nice one. The Snow Speeder, this one sold in an auction for $69. Again, very clean, about as mint as you can get on that one. That was a really nice condition. Next up, we've got the big boys. All right, so these were not mint in sealed box, but it included the blister as well as the box for the die cast. So we've got the Millennium Falcon that was in really clean condition. The box obviously was not, but the Millennium Falcon was basically unused. I mean, look how clean that is. That is gorgeous. That one sold for $113 and change. They also had the Y-Wing, and I was tempted on this one because my Y-Wing is graded CAS 75 plus. This one did not have any discoloration to the bottom where the bomb attaches. So that's the problem with mine, is I've got some red that's kind of smeared onto the die cast portion of the vehicle. This one was pretty clean on the bottom. The top, it did have some very slight discoloration, but I think this one grades an 80 pretty easily. I probably should have bid on it, but it got too high for me. It sold for $188. To me, that's too much money. I didn't want to spend that much money on it. And I get it. I mean, they were probably buying it to display inside the blister to kind of give it a faux appearance of a mint and seal box example. So that's probably why that one sold so high. But $188 on the Y-Wing. This is the big one, though. I could not believe the final sales price on this one. This was not mint in seal box, but it was a super clean example of the TIE Bomber, easily the most expensive and the rarest of the die-cast figures, vehicles. And look how clean this one was. It was in super clean condition. I mean, pretty much pristine. I mean, it was absolutely insane how clean this one was. But it sold for $18.02. That was too big of a price for me to swallow. I mean, I was thinking maybe $800 or $900, but again, because of the packaging, I just assuming that somebody is going to buy this, slide it back in to the blister like this seller did for the photos, and just kind of display it like that. It's a much cheaper way to get it in the packaging versus one that's still mint and sealed box, because well, I think we just documented one that sold probably 2 or 3 sessions ago over at Hakes. That was mint in seal box, and I think it sold for over $3,000. Don't quote me on that price, but it was a big number. So, again, this one was sold for $18.02, more than I was willing to spend, given that you can get a loose, complete one in pretty clean condition. Not nearly as clean as this one, admittedly, but probably $750 to $850, maybe $900 on the outside for a complete die-cast TIE Bomber. So at some point, I'm going to have to suck it up and pay for that just to complete my collection. But I need the TIE Fighter, obviously the TIE Bomber, and then the X-Wing are the 3 that I still need to complete my loose complete collection for the die-cast. And I'm just sending them slowly to Collector Archive Services for loose grading because they take about a year. So it's not like I'm in a big rush to get them back here. So $18.02 was the final sales price on that. That was a big number. All right, let's see what else we got. We got the Lili Ledys. These all sold loose, complete, and in really clean condition. And poor Zuckus did not get a high sales price on his. It was in pretty clean condition, though. I was really surprised it sold that low. But that one sold for $37 for the Made in Mexico version. You can always tell the Lili Ledy Zuckus because he's got that really dark red nose. It's a very, very dark red nose. And, you know, it looks like maybe the body has some slight torso discoloration. That could have kept the price down just a little bit. But that one did sell for $37 complete. Chewbacca is another one that's pretty easy to find. So I'm not surprised that this one sold so cheap at $52. But the prices start to escalate in a little while here. Lili Ledy General Madine. That's another one that is fairly inexpensive, and you can pick it up for a reasonable price. This one wasn't perfect, but it was pretty close. I think this one would grade at an 80 or an 85 pretty easily, but he's got a pretty distinctive staff. The staff has like a very soft sculpt to it versus the Kenner version that has very sharp edges for the interior of the top of that staff. So it's a kind of an off-white versus a bright white, and the Lili Ledy version, it's a very unique staff. You can go to Variant Villain or Imperial Gunnery to get nice high-res close-ups of the accessories for the Lili Ledys because they are factory-specific accessories. But this one it's kind of an off-white with soft sculpt versus the Kenner that's bright white with very sharp sculpt to the top of the staff there. So you can see how soft it is. That one did sell for $82. The Lili Ledy ERG sold for $89. Again, kind of in line with expectations. Nothing crazy there. The TIE Fighter palette, this one was super clean. Oftentimes, the emblems get really rubbed off on the helmet, but this one has like the black blaster there that was also packed in with Neon Numb and the Jawa. And this one was really clean though. Look how shiny it was. It did have a couple of very minor issues on the glove. I'm guessing this one probably grades out at an 80 plus, but a very, very nice example. $147.50 on him. The Lili Ledy Wicket is another one that usually is pretty expensive. You got to be careful because this one did not have perfect paint. You can see the paint rubs there, and that's because the hood, when you slide it on and off, it does rub on the fur, and you can see some obvious rub marks on the fur here, as well as on the cheek and then down here. So this one was not perfect. Probably would grade out at about an 80 would be my guess, but it still sold for $191. But I think it's just because Wicket is so popular. I mean, he's a very popular character among some collectors, and he certainly is cool. $191.38 on him. The Lili Ledy Han Solo trench coat is a very expensive variant. This one was very pristine. You can see that the hair is where you really got to look. The hair and on the body there is where you get the most paint rubs. This one did have a paint rub on the shoulder, but usually the hair has got a lot of paint rubs. This one did not. The hair was in great shape. It's just a couple of paint rubs on the shoulder and on the actual shirt of him. But the tunic, like the robe, is another thing that usually kind of frays and falls apart. This one was in very clean condition. He comes with a Lili Ledy specific wide-handled Bespin black blaster. So very specific kind of accessories for the Endor Han. That one sold for $223. In high grade, they can go for a lot of money. I'm guessing this one grades out at about an 80. But that was a very nice example and probably worth every penny of $223. Another very expensive variant that from the Lili Ledy line is the Leia Combat Poncho. She comes with a factory-specific gray blaster, and this one was in super mint condition. Would probably grade out, I would think, an 80 plus or potentially an 85. Very, very expensive variant in high grade. It can go for $600 plus in an AFA 85, if not quite a bit higher. This one sold for $339, so I'm not terribly surprised on that one. And then this is probably, I thought, the best deal of all of them that were at auction. This is the Returno variant for the Yoda, and he's got the orange eyes. It's a very specific early Lili Ledy variant for Yoda. There's a Regresso version that has a darker, kind of brighter green skin that's very tacky. The paint can oftentimes come off in your hand, but this one is much more difficult to find, and it's got very specific accessories, so you got to be really careful on that. But it was advertised as 100% complete and AFA ready, and $362 for that. I thought that was a bargain. Usually ungraded, even on Facebook, they can go for quite a bit more money. I was expecting $450 to $500 on it. It did sell for $362. I thought that was a really good bargain, and probably would grade out at about an 80 plus. It had a couple of little scuffs on the hand and foot there, but that's a great variant for a very good price. Next up, let's finish off with some baggies. This is the SWD mail-away baggie for Boba Fett. I think I had this in a what to buy video. It was just the baggie. It did not come with the box or the paperwork inside. It sold for $405. And then this one also did sell. It came with the box that was obviously in pretty rough shape because they decided to remove the address label on the box, which I would not recommend you do if you have one of these. Leave it on there because it can damage the box. The baggie itself was pretty pristine, though. Look how clean and crisp it was, and the Made in Hong Kong on the baggie was pretty clean. It also did come with the Note to Consumers thing, the Note to Consumers pack in there, and I think it also did come with a catalog, which you could replace later on. It's easy to find the catalog, but the Note to Consumers is hard to find, as is the box. This one I would think would probably grade out at about a 75, just because of the box damage, unfortunately. But it did sell for $800 in high grade. They can go for $2,000 plus if it's already graded by AFA. So $800 seems to be about right, though, because you can replace the catalog the Kenner catalog that's missing pretty easily and then send it off to get it graded by AFA or CAS or wherever you live in the UK. Next up, we had some other baggies. This one was a Princess Leia Bouche baggie. I believe this is the ROTJ A baggie, made in Hong Kong. It's a much harder baggie to find for Bouche. The ROTJH baggie has the ROC written on the baggie. That one's a really common one, very easy to find. But this specific baggie is not easy to find. It's a very, very tough one to find. And it did sell for $160. I sent this one out to my Patreon supporters in a Buy It Now alert, and they did pick it up. So congrats to whoever grabbed that one. Next up is another one that was grabbed by a Patreon supporter. This is a Lili Ledy made in Mexico neon, and I thought this was a great price, $219. A little tougher to find made in Mexico baggies. They just didn't produce those in nearly the number that they did for the Hong Kong and Taiwan baggies or the China baggies. So I thought this was a great deal at $219 for a Lili Ledy figure, Lili Ledy baggie. Great buy there at $219. Next up is the Bosk mail-away baggie. This is the SWA baggie that was featured on the 20 backs or the Empire Strikes Back transition card 21 backs, the secret Star Wars action figure offer. This obviously did not come with the box or the paperwork for this auction, but it was a tape-sealed baggie in pretty pristine condition, and that one sold for $277. I thought that was a really good buy. Not hard to find this particular baggie, but it is hard to find it 100% complete with the paperwork and the box. It's a very, very tricky one to find complete with the box. Finally, we had, well, maybe not finally. I think, yeah, this one is last. This is the last one I've had for this video. This is the one I had in my What to Buy video. This is the EV99 baggie. And again, the last 17 baggie for EV99 and Barada, and I can't remember who the other one is now, but they came in the Jabba's Dungeon playset. And Amanaman was the other one. Amanaman, EV99, and Barada. Those last 17 figures in baggies only came in that Jabba the Hutt Dungeon playset. So they're pretty coveted baggies if they're still mint and sealed baggie, because that's the only place you could get them. And this one did sell for $350 for the EV99, still sealed and in great shape. I thought that was a bargain. I was expecting $450 to $500, quite honestly. So hopefully one of y'all were able to grab that one, but that's a tricky baggie to find. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this look at die-cast figures, as well as the Lili Ledys that sold, as well as these baggies, and we will be back very soon.